Hey everyone, my name is Jenna. Welcome to the Understanding Your Tournament Dashboard webinar. I will be guiding you through the tutorial on how to understand your tournament dashboard. So yesterday when we did this webinar, we unfortunately encountered some technical difficulties, and nothing like technical difficulties in the middle of a live webinar. So for the YouTube version, I edited that all out so that we didn't have to watch 3 minutes of that on YouTube. And so what you'll see next is me talking about just going right into the dashboard and whatnot. So if you missed the webinar or were not able to catch it live, feel free to, if you have further questions once we're done with the webinar, support@pickleball.com is our support email address. And yeah, just feel free to give it a watch and see what you think. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this tournament, it was canceled, and so 97 registered, withdrawn is 97. But I just kind of wanted to show you an overview of a webinar or a tournament dashboard. And I'll go through a couple different ones. So if you guys have any questions, like I said in the beginning, if there's any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. I will get to them at the end, and that way I'm just not going back and forth here. So hopefully this stays. Let me know, you guys, if you can see it, and we should be good to go. All right. Okay, so 97 registered, entered in events. This is what I like to pay attention to, and I'll show you a regular tournament here in a second. But this shows you how many are in an event, how many are on a wait list, and then total registered along with withdrawn. If you have anybody, any tournaments that you're doing like a t-shirt sign up for, anything that's for the user defined section, that's where this will show up for you there. PT perks. I have a whole video on our YouTube page. If you Google like Pickleball Play Solutions, PT perks, you can see the whole video on how to use PT perks. You can get like discounted balls, electrolyte drinks. There's like even nets and stuff out there, swag bag items, all kinds of stuff. So give that a look if you're not doing that already. Okay, so finances, this is kind of what I like to pay attention to. So Stripe payments, we've used Stripe for this tournament, and this is how much money came in. Total payments, so would be like, okay, I added somebody, but I'm going to just mark them as paid. It would show up right here as a manual payment. We ended up refunding everybody, obviously, so that's why it says Stripe refunds and total refunds. So the reason that these two, the Stripe refunds and Stripe payments, are different is because of the $5 pickleball brackets event fee, or pickleball.com event fee, whatever. It still says on the receipt pickleball brackets, so that's what I'm calling it. So that's why that's different. So what we did in this case was said, hey, we know that that's a non-refundable fee for you, but here's a $5 discount for one of our other tournaments. That way it kind of evened out for them. So Stripe processing fee, that is like PayPal, Venmo, any company that you use has their own fees. That's how they make money. That's how they stay in business. So if you are using, or if you ever need to know, hey, this is how much money is coming out, because of like them handling the payments for you, that's kind of there for you to see. You can see we got a lot of our registrations in September when we first opened this tournament. I'll bump that up a little bit so you guys can see. And then a few more in like December, but we just kind of never really got more. It was supposed to be in February 2025, but we never really got more from that. Okay, so going further down, this is just another synopsis of what was above, right? So payments, this is how much was reversed, Stripe fees. It's just like a quick glance. of your what's up here. Amount owed. So I'll show you in another tournament what that kind of looks like. This is where people get a little bit confused on what is actually being tallied. Okay, so I have a setup fee for $25. Every tournament has that. The service fees, so $565 divided by 5, because it's $5 per person per event with a cap of $10 per person. That added up to be $565. So the total, this plus this, is going to be this right here, right? So if I go up and look at my receipt, I can see that here's my event fee. I paid that right at the beginning, right? So I paid that right away when I created the tournament. And then this was all collected by Stripe. And you can see it's $564.10. This is where it gets a little tricky, because sometimes when that happens, basically I had somebody else register for a $5 event, but Stripe wasn't able to collect their service fee. So they have to send the $5 to pickleball.com for the service fee, but they also have to take out their service fee, which for that transaction was 90 cents. So at the end of the day, our tournament for the cancellation owed 90 cents to pickleball brackets or pickleball tournaments, right? So that's why sometimes you end up with weird amounts. It's just because Stripe couldn't collect their service fee and pickleball.com service fee all at the same time. So they charge it out to the tournament. Okay, so that's kind of, the receipt there. So I'm going to go back here and scroll back down. Insurance, I'll quick cover that in our next, actually everything else I'll kind of cover in our next dashboard here. This is a tournament that's ongoing. It's in around Thanksgiving time. We only have 12 registered, 9 are entered in events, 3 are on the wait list. Nobody was withdrawn yet, and we're giving away sweat towels, so we don't have any information to collect, any shirt sizes or anything like that. So far we have brought in $740. Somebody used a $5 discount. That's again what I was talking about, right? So we offer a $5 discount if that with that Glow tournament. So this is one same thing. Somebody used that $5 discount to register for one of our future tournaments. So of that $740, there's $25 in Stripe fees. You can take a look at this graph as well to kind of know when you're getting in your registrations, when your high points are, your low points. I kind of compare it to when I post on social media. What does that look like? Do I get bumps after that, or when we do an email campaign or something like that? You'll notice here it says total owed is $90. That is because there's 3 on the wait list right now. So the way that I run my tournaments is if your partner doesn't register within 3 days of you registering, you get booted to the wait list. And as long as there's room, when your partner registers, you get put back in. So it puts the pressure on the players and not on me as the tournament director. I, of course, will reach out to them. If they just stay on the wait list, I'll message them and say, hey, do you still want to play? That's just something that I do personally. It's up to each person to know and decide what and how much work they want to put into it. But that's just something that I do personally to kind of cut down on that work. But that being said, when somebody goes onto the wait list, our system thinks that we owe them money because they're technically not in an event. They're on a wait list. So just because it says, you owe money doesn't entirely mean that it's accurate either. It's just like an alert, right? So you can go to your attendee screen, you can check, do we owe money? And if I see people on the wait list, I just ignore that. If I see people that have withdrawn, then I, of course, will refund them their money. We also understand at pickleball.com that each tournament comes up with their own refund policy. So let's say you're just doing a straight up fundraiser and you make very clear that all of the funds that are raised through the tournament are going to go to, fundraiser A, whatever the case may be. And so there's no refunds whatsoever. So the player does not see that on their end. They only, you only see it on your end. So just because it says you owe somebody money, it's just going based on the event. And that's why the player doesn't see it, is because we know each tournament makes their own cancellation policies. So hopefully that makes sense. Feel free to message about that if you have any other questions. Okay, so again, setup fee, our service fee so far is $70. Player text fee is $225. So you noticed above we had 9 players that are currently playing in our tournament. So 9 times 25 cents a piece, with the texting fee is $225. So subtotal is $97.25 and paid is $95. Again, let's go up to my receipt. We can look at this anytime. View receipt. It looks like we have 10 registered. I think somebody actually registered this morning. I haven't refreshed my screen, so we're at it must be 250 now. Oh yeah, look, 250. So pickleball bracket setup fee $25. Again, that was paid originally when I created the tournament, and Stripe so far has been collecting the payments. So $75, as you see, somebody registered by the time I started this webinar. So that's great. And so yes, we are at a total now of 100, and then my balance is 250 because I now have 10 players registered. So I'm going to go back and now refresh my screen. We see 10 players entered on our events now, and we are up to a total of 825. Okay. If I wanted to look at insurance, I can see if that's available in my area. Click that button, and we are partnered with LIO Insurance, or LIO Insurance, and you can check it out if your tournament needs insurance. This kind of gets fun as you get more registrations, just to see where people are coming in from. A lot of the times it's local. So I don't know if I mentioned I'm up in West Michigan area. So most of my stuff is from Michigan. Excuse me. And but yeah, when we do the bigger tournaments, it's kind of fun to just see where everybody's coming from. So 5 females, 8 males. You can see the percentages, your totals here, what the ages are of people who are registered. You can also see what events people are registered for, mixed doubles. It looks like a couple in the 3-5 and 3-0 brackets so far. And then also if there's any clubs associated with player accounts, you can view that there. So this is a fun little trick too that I figured out yesterday, actually. This little graph shows you some of the messages that have been sent. If you want to look at, let's just say, the email receipts and the email notices, you can just click on it and it will X out all of those. So you can just see what the comparison is, if that's something that interests you, if you want to play around with that. And then quick stats are down here. Event count, how many events you have in your tournament, how many managers you have listed, how many views you got, how many courts you have available set up. And then like merged event, that becomes more applicable once you are finalizing your brackets and whatnot. So, and then just some random statistics too about where your people are coming from. So I would say that is about it on that side of things. Yeah, if you guys have any, like I said, you can view your receipt at any time. And it's really helpful because you can see precisely what Stripe is paying for, right? So sometimes people kind of think like, oh, wait, I have a balance of 102.50, but they don't look further to see, oh yeah, but $100 is already paid for that, right? So make sure you're looking at your receipt if that's something that's concerning to you. I mostly, because I have texting turn on, so I only just worry about the texting fee really, because I know that as long as I'm using Stripe, the payments are gonna come through via Stripe. The other thing is, if you guys are doing like an escrow tournament where you use the pickleball.com collection service, the payments for that are set up like, so we collect, if you use our escrow service, there's a small fee for that, $2 a player. And then accounting. So here's from our accounting department. The current process we follow is accounting monitors all the player registration and refund payments processed for each escrow tournament. So escrow means using our pickleball.com Stripe account. After the tournament is locked and completed, accounting will begin the payout process by issuing a Stamply invitation. Stamply is like a payment processing center. It'll wire your money to you. So accounting and Stamply will issue an invitation for an account to be created, and then the Stamply invitation will be issued after the tournament is locked and completed. Usually the process takes around, I would say, total 30 days. So yeah, if you don't have a Stripe account and want to use Stripe, I would highly recommend, like, it is really easy to use Stripe. You can just go in and refund people right from our side of things. If you are using like collecting payments on site, you will have to keep track of the $5 per person event fee or pickleball.com service fee. And you'll have to keep track of that if you're using, like I said, like an on-site payment or something like that. And then the tournament would get a bill for that afterwards. But that's less common than since Stripe is readily available now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to submit them now. I actually don't see a ton of questions coming through. I'll refresh my screen here too, since we were having little errors earlier. So sad. I'm so sorry. And it doesn't look like you guys have any questions, which is awesome. If you guys have any general questions about tournaments in general, you are welcome to ask them now as well, since we have a minute. And if not, that's cool. Also, our support email is support@pickleball.com. And I'm also creating kind of like a YouTube library of tutorials and support. And also, if you guys have any other webinars that you want to see in the future, feel free to message them to me. We had this request come in and we thought, you know what, this is a great idea, just in case people don't entirely know what their tournament dashboard does for them. It's a good way to just see a brief overview, or like a umbrella version of your tournament. Awesome, guys. Well, there's no questions coming in, so I think we are good to go. So sorry about the technical difficulties earlier. And again, if you guys have any ideas about future webinars, feel free to message them, send them in via email, support@pickleball.com, and we'd be happy to take a look. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.